Hi everyone, this is Bismi from Dominus Nisi on 88.9 Win FM. I'm so excited to start our brand new series, The Women's in May. That's what the series that we are going to do for this month, to share the different challenges and the achievements that every woman doing in this area and who are inspired my personal life. And at the same time, we reflecting how the domestic violence awareness can be done through this series. So I'm so fortunate to have a great personality, a women entrepreneur, doing many different things to help the community through her business, through her personal life, and through her book and her own different ways of connecting personally. So I'm so excited to welcome Christine to our series. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you, Bismi. Thank you. This has been such an honour and a pleasure to share with your audience.
Thank you so much. So I will ask you to introduce who you are, what you're doing now. Thank you.
Okay. So my name is Christine Williams. I'm a mother, a grandmother, a stepmother, a step-grandmother, a sister, an auntie, a daughter. So I'm a female of many ages. I'm 66 and I'll be 67 in July this year. I have two daughters myself, and we have also three adult children. There's six grandchildren, and I was single. I was a single mum, but I have remarried, and so there's a blended family now. So there's been trials and tribulations and peaks and troughs in my life, and quite often I do say to people, if something's happened in somebody's life, I'm sure I've experienced it in some way. So I feel that's one of the reasons why I can share so many things, because I've been through so many experiences, and that comes from I was sexually abused as a child. Okay, I don't often share that. So there's been so many times where I could, I don't know, put myself in a cupboard and lock myself up and not open myself to the world. But I've honestly experienced, I don't want to be a victim. So I am a survivor. I'm not a victim. And I believe I've given those values and traits to my daughters and my stepchildren and people around me. So I'm an author, I'm a speaker. My business is Smarter Property Investing. I teach people how to enter the market, how to stay in the market, and how to build a property portfolio. And that journey didn't start as a business. That journey started as my personal survival experience, where I was divorced after 17 years of marriage, and I came out with a very small settlement, and I had to get another home for myself and my daughters. So it became a part of survival, and I didn't realise what I was doing was something that was going to become quite incredible and be able to build a business. And this business, I didn't start until I was 56. So
Oh.
it's been many years of different challenges, different triumphs, and learning along the way, and embracing family, friends, and community to help me.
Yeah, I think that's very inspiring because I feel like all the topics that I'm thinking for this month, you got every element of those ones. Like, because women needs to be financially independent to do their dream, to pursue to their life in a proper way. And then you have experience and you're helping that that and experience to other people. I'll come to that, but before that, I'm going to that motherhood. And you are a mother, grandmother to different people, and then you are working in that area, not just your biological daughters. You're becoming mother for many other people. So my question: how do you describe your motherhood, and what is your core values of your motherhood?
I think as a mother, we learn as we go, because unfortunately, there's no real parenting book out there, is there? And if there was, I don't think we'd really read it, because I think because our children have so many different personalities, we have to adopt those personalities. I think it's really important to understand what your children's weaknesses are. So we bring up our children and we make sure that they have our same Christian values, and we bring up our children to be positive and confident, and male and female children. And I feel that that's definitely a part of why we're here, and it's definitely a part of our journey with the children. But I think it's also important to understand what our children's weaknesses are, or our children's idiosyncrasies, because I feel that I hear so many mothers say, oh no, my little Johnny didn't do that, or my little Susie wouldn't have done that. And yet quite visually, you can see that those children are doing something wrong, and that behaviour needs to be corrected or addressed, and addressed in a very open and comfortable way. So as a mother, I suppose two of the biggest things I've learned along the way is to listen and really hear what they're asking us, or hear what they're trying to explain to us. So I think listening is such an important element of being a mother and a parent. And then I think the next thing is to call out bad behaviour. If there is bad behaviour and it goes against your values, I think it needs to be called out and addressed in a very open and honest way. Yes, I would think they're my two biggest lessons. And then, of course,
Yeah.
accept that we're all individuals, and accept that we do have faults, but we need to address those faults and bring as much joy and love into that relationship as we possibly can.
That's great. I'm picking up active listening as a core thing from your, you're explaining your situations and experience. I think, when I do have 11-year-old twins, and then they will be asking mom this, and then I will be in a real busy mindset of thinking something, and I may not put that active listening ears over there, but I'm clearly hearing that that's the one best thing that you need to keep as a mother. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm
You're
going to
welcome.
that my next, because I'm asking same questions to this different mothers and finding out what's the correlation between every mother. So the next question is like, juggling between your business and becoming a grandmother and mother and a business owner, how do you keep your peace inside? What are the 3 rules that you can tell us to keep your peace within?
That's a lovely question. It's a really lovely question, and it could take a very long answer. However, I think I'll break it down to, my belief is there's no such thing as work-life balance. I hear that so many times when I go to networking. I hear that so many times when I'm sitting in a business forum, and I sort of sit there, and it's wonderful to think that, we have work-life balance, and we balance our family and we balance work. Or it's not that simple. It's not that black and white. I truly believe that when you're about to serve, and you're either serving as a mother, or you're serving as a business owner, or you're serving as a community member, I feel that when that time comes, that's the priority. So I don't believe it should be 50% here and 50% there, or 30% there and 70% there. I believe it is prioritize the moment. And sometimes business takes over family or community life. Sometimes it just has to. Sometimes you may have a client that's in such need that they are your priority, because if you're able to set up in the background that your children will be looked after. You've got systems in place whereby, in your case, with me, 11-year-old girls, well, you may have set them a task for something to do while you need to take an important, do a podcast or a video or a conversation with a potential client. So I feel that if we can learn to prioritize the right situation at that particular time, and by the way, it does take time to learn how to do that, I feel that you then get true work-life balance, because you're prioritizing who and what you're going to serve at that particular time. Yes.
Yeah, lots of learning, like that wisdom that, I feel like all that gold nuggets, we need to really practice that in the motherhood. Yes, that's great. To juggle around business and motherhood, it's not 2 areas. You need to be the same person, or like, feel the same mindset in both sides. So that's a great one. I would love to touch and another, great topic, especially the month of May. We are starting the awareness of family violence because it's actually going through, like, as we discussed before. Yes, it's a generational crisis, but it's the time now we are saying that it is not anymore, because we need to have that freedom of living, because every human got a right to be at peace and enjoy the life that we have. So whatever the reasons are, it can be generation, it can be situation, it can be our own mindset. We are not allowing to have that violence in our country, especially here. So this month of May is that violence awareness month. So what is your thoughts on family violence, and how we can, I know that it is so hard to eliminate for everyone, but I believe in we need to do something within us to eliminate in and around us. So what's your thought on that one?
Of things I think there is that I was probably fortunate not to be brought up with domestic violence. However, I was sexually assaulted. So there was definitely that level of violence in my child upbringing. But I feel that without being derogatory to anybody, I feel that we've got organisations out there that have created elements to stop addiction. Now, domestic violence to me can be a level of addiction because that person may have been brought up in that environment, or it is within that culture, and it can be generational, or it's centuries old. Okay, but if we look at Alcoholics Anonymous, now people have an addiction, and we have addictions for different reasons. But if we look at their process, they have a sponsor, and you can't change that addiction overnight. And domestic violence, you can't change that behaviour overnight. It has to be learned through and experienced, and the understanding of right from wrong. So if we think about the process of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they have a sponsor, I don't think it's any different to having a beautiful community, a Christian community, whereby can you buddy up with someone to start to understand what domestic violence is, because it can be in a family home whereby domestic violence is accepted because it's normal within their environment, but they haven't actually been shown or taught or seen that this isn't normal. It's really abnormal. And the difference between normal and abnormal, it needs to be shown through not just talking. It needs to be shown through experience, through learning, through teachings. So I think that's something that we could have. But I feel if there are women out there in your world, in your community business, if they feel that they're in a trapped environment, they need to be able to go to a support person in their community and actually be heard. Okay. And so this is where listening comes into so many parts of our life that are so important. And they need to be heard. They need to be listened to, and then given some little tasks, some little tactics to avoid conflict, because domestic violence starts with conflict, and then learning what conflict is. Now, it's not for that person to be put in a box so they don't say anything, but it's the language that they need to learn to either dissolve conflict or soften conflict, or be confident enough to walk away. And when I say walk away, sometimes you just need to walk out the front door and walk around the block. Because I don't know about you, Bisney, but as a brand new mother, I was a brand new mother at 20 with my first child. And there was one night that my daughter just wouldn't stop crying, and I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know. And, this is 46 years ago.
Yes.
And I didn't know it was so wrong. And I was getting so frustrated because I thought, well, as a mother, I know how to, I fed her, I've changed her, I've burped her, I've put the heater on, I've made her warm, I've made her cooler, I've done all these things. And I was getting so frustrated, I just didn't know what to do. And I could feel the anger coming up. And that was when I went in, I woke my husband up and said, you have to take the baby. Now, there are some women out there that don't have that support, or they're not game enough to go and wake their partner up to say, I really need 10 minutes away from this, because you were put into a situation that you couldn't control. You didn't understand why you couldn't control it. So your own behavior may have got out of control. So this is where, domestic violence, is it cultural? Is it generational? Is it systematic? Or is it you can't cope with a situation whereby it was so uncontrolling, you got so angry, could have I turned around and shook my baby? Could have I turned around and, threw my baby in the cot? So, this is where we have to think about what domestic violence is and really categorize it, what it is, and reach out for support. So and reaching out for support, that's a huge confidence thing. That's big. And for the women out there that's listening, don't think you're being don't think you're not brave by not reaching out. Reaching out for support is one of the most bravest and confident things that you could do. And in doing that, you're instilling confidence and being brave in your own children as well. So it's not just you that's learning the lesson, it's you taking on board and then being able to teach your children.
Yeah, that's great. Like that courage of reaching out is the first biggest step that they can take to transform themselves. So thank you. That's a great way. Like in education, that's all we have to do to find out. My theme of our radio show is to spread love, joy, and peace. And you touched with your experiences. So my next question is, what you can do or you do to spread love and joy and peace in your life and in your world around you?
First thing that we need to address there is that you've got to have love, joy, and peace within yourself.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got that within yourself, how can you obviously spread it and how can you share it? So I believe that you need to be selfish. And so sometimes being selfish can be the most positive thing that you can do, because sometimes you can wake up and think, oh, I don't want to face today. For whatever reason, I just don't want to face today. And I feel that if you can inspire yourself and be confident and happy and put that smile on, now you may not feel like smiling, but if you can actually take the time and effort and look in the bathroom mirror and smile, it brings the joy and peace back into yourself. And once you've got that, you can go out and share it with the world. What do I do? Well, some people do yoga, some people go to the gym, some people walk their dog, some people listen to music. Me personally, it's more about, well, today's going to be a good day. Okay, today's going to be a good day. I am going to share. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and on the 27th of May this year, 2024, is 2 years after I commenced my first chemo treatment. And I was probably in denial. Well, not probably, I was definitely in denial for 3 or 4 months until I started losing my hair. But I was positive the whole way through. So denial, believe it or not, as much as that's negative, it was positive for me because it didn't allow me to give me the oh, woe, poor me. And because I was so positive, I never really opened up about my treatment. It was really just immediate family that knew. And it was at the end of my treatment and how we donated to a charity that I actually opened it up and allowed my business world to know about it. And my business world was so shocked because I was on Zoom, and if I had to be on Zoom, I was on Zoom, and I was only dressed from the waist up, everybody. And I knew that it would be a small amount of time for me to put on this really happy, bright face, and then I could go and relax whilst I was having treatment. So to bring joy to the world, it actually helped me being positive and not taking this oh, woe, poor me approach and then sharing it. And then when I did openly share it, people said, wow, Christine, if that ever happens to me, I'm going to speak to you because you've actually worked through this. And I'm very grateful to our system. I'm very grateful to, our God. I'm very grateful. But in saying all of that, it helped by being positive. So I just want to make people happy and I want to listen to them. And if they are having a down day, I open up and I say, you're quite welcome. Just call me and, let's talk through it and I'll help.
That's an amazing story, Christine. It's like, I'm getting really like, you were going through tough time, but at the same time, you were inspiring other people through, through your business. That's a great way of spreading love, joy, and peace. And I'm so glad you're sharing your very, very personal stories with us. And thank you for that. That's where I want to check with you. Yes, we want to reach out to you if you want to know more about the financial freedom, if you want to find out how can I come out of trauma, how can I go through my, hard time. So as a listener, how can we reach out to you?
You're busy. So, as I mentioned before, my business is Smarter Property Investing. So SMARTER Property Investing. I work from home. I'm in Bundoora. My business is definitely word of mouth. Okay, and for anyone to be in contact with me, my number is 1300 736 734. Or my website is www.smarterpropertyinvesting.com.au. And that's actually my email address, christine.williams@smarterpropertyinvesting.com.au. And look, I'm very open. I offer a 30-minute complimentary conversation, whether or not that be by mobile or by Zoom. I do eventually meet face to face. I'm here to listen. Now, I may not be able to solve everyone's problems. And if I can't, I'll be very open about that, whether I can or I can't. But I can assure you that I'll direct you in some way. I may not be the solution to your issue or your problem, but I'll certainly help you as much as I possibly can. And I suppose that's what I'm offering. I'm offering my time. However, business is business at the end of the day, and my time may turn into the official engagement of me. And if that happens, well, it's because I'm in the right place, you're in the right place, and we can obviously assist each other. But yes, my offer to your listeners is 30 minutes of my time, and I'm sure that in that 30 minutes, I will definitely give you, I don't know, a golden nugget or suggest a particular organisation or what you should start doing. Or it could be as simple as, starting giving up one coffee a week to start saving. Little hints and tips, little things that I had to learn along the way to survive as a mother with two children, and then eventually, keep working, keep bringing the money in, and then learning how to keep that money and turn that money into, a growing asset through property. So it doesn't happen overnight, but I had to start one day myself, and I've learned along the way, and that's exactly why I wrote the book. I wrote the book around my mistakes, what I learned, and what my strategy is today. So everyone's welcome to contact me.
Thank you. So listeners, this is an offer, a free 30 minutes personal session with Christine. And if you want to know more about it, please look at the show notes and comments of these videos, and then I will be adding all different details, phone numbers and website details of Christine over there. So Christine, that's an honor for me to share your story through our series of Mothers in May, and I'm so excited that you are helping many people, and I'm confident that people will come and get your help in future. So wish you a happy Mother's Day, and experience that love again through your family in this month. It's not a day's job, it's more of like your motherhood is like your whole life. So experience that, enjoy that, and wish you all the very best for your future, that you're helping many people around you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Bismi, and your listeners are very welcome as well. Thank you. Good day.